You are tuned in to The Art of Words, hosted by Gavin Rasmussen.
My name's Gavin Rasmussen, and you're joining us with The Art of Words. Today, again, we're going to continue our readings of Behind the Mask, 40 Quarantine Poems from Humboldt County, edited by David Holper and Anne Fricke. In the Shadow of Waiting by Daryl Ni Chin. Chinese have an expression for impatience. Dog can't hold it in, dog can't wait. We are waiting to take off our masks, to staunch the flood of new words. We don't want to practice social distancing, to comprehend Kawasaki syndrome, hear about ventilators, surgical and N95 mask shortages, intubation, negative pressure. We are waiting. We are waiting to topple the crown of the new king, SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, hoping we can stop a virus like Ebola, dengue, bubonic plague like AIDS. How that sounds like a bandage. Every day we see or read about something new and something old. A marriage, till death do us part. Of the heart, the kidneys, the lungs, the blood, the clots, the fevers, diarrhea, the liver, bloodshot eyes, the loss of taste and sense of smell. Atoms smashed and stir-fried together. With the invisible ink of people with no symptoms, negative tests, no breathlessness, who walk by and then drop dead. We are waiting and afraid, like Oedipus, who wanted in the end to know it all, to demand truth, whole truth, truth soon enough. We are waiting for plasma, for throat and blood tests, for vaccines, because they are all we know, which feels like nothing. We are all waiting for the numbers to subside, for the extra hospitals to go away. We are waiting to breathe, to exhale, for the arc of health to rise. We are waiting inside. Spring is here. The air has changed. Are we done? We are waiting for a cure. We are fighting for this perfect disease, one that changes with each discovery, this pandemic. We are fighting this war against which we have no known weapons. It is not something we see. We are waiting because there is no medicine, no gun, no bomb. We are throwing darts at a tank. Berries are ripening, poppies blooming, not waiting. It is almost hopeless, except for the Samaritans. The nurses, doctors, aides, cleaners, therapists, janitors, those who flew toward the infection, toward the unfair battle, dressed against the invisible, attending to the dying, staying with those who die alone. We are waiting for the morticians who took and stacked up the dead, making space where there was none. Worked and worked to bury, to cremate. We saw, we see, and we are waiting, careful in our homes. We are waiting and watching the ones who blame and threaten, the ones with guns and bullhorns who, like all of us, are not used to listening and sacrificing for the greater good, for the public's health. We, us, each of us all. We are waiting to shake hands, to kiss. We are waiting to touch granddaughters. We are waiting to tackle, arm wrestle, to love our enemies, to sleep with one another. We are waiting for those to admit they were wrong, that they didn't know it all. We are waiting for someone to stop insulting the questioner. We are waiting to stop blaming the Chinese, the Korean, the Japanese, but it is hard to wait without blaming, to admit the virus traveled west and east and anywhere a plane or person went. Wuhan or Paris, Siberia, Buenos Aires, London, Shanghai, Marseille, it flew into everyone's open arms, a conspiracy of travel deals, unintended migration of travel currents, sneezes, sea cruises, charter flights, airline deals, all in one resorts, Christmas shopping, New Year migrations. We are waiting. April 18th, 2020, by Therese Fitzmaurice. The fog is smothering the coastline, reaching into the valley over the first ridge. The children are still in bed. It feels like the right time to cry. Today's New York Times briefing mentions mass morgues for nursing home patients, families overwhelmed with care, children struck by rising poverty, the mental health impacts of isolation. The local economy reports 15 businesses have permanently closed, the first in many waves to come. The Humboldt agency spokeshead says, the economy is more than the numbers. It's the story we tell about it. He's hopeful the Nordic land-based salmon farm will bring 100 new jobs from the East Coast company. I want more than anything to curl up in my father's lap like a child and cry. Let his strong hands rock away all my sorrow. He's asked us yesterday to cancel our summer flight to see them. There were years where I would have celebrated that freedom, released from the obligation of family. Now, I wonder when I will see them again. If my mother's fragile lungs will be spared. If my stepmother's radical, stoic strength will keep her from one of the mass graves. My son is tired of me asking how he's doing. My daughter has begun to say she needs to see her people. I can no longer be the center of their orbit. Last night at dinner, they asked why we had gone to Jamaica. We told them stories about the 3 international trips we took before they were born. The reggae concert in Montego Bay, the cenotes and ancient Mayan ruins in Tulum, the stunning architecture in Rome. I wonder when we will travel again, beyond the small radius of our home. The fog is so thick today. We can no longer see the ocean from our second-story window. There is a candle lit on the altar. This morning I asked aloud for the spirits of the river and the earth, of the wise ancestors to help me, to heal me, so that I may be a presence of love through these gray and mysterious days. Thank you for joining us today in this episode of The Art of Words. Behind the Mask, 40 Quarantine Poems from Humboldt County is available online through the Humboldt State University Digital Archives. I'm your host, Gavin Rasmussen. And just a reminder, be sure to stay up to date on your COVID-19 vaccinations.
This has been The Art of Words, hosted by Gavin Rasmussen. If you'd like to leave suggestions, email us at ewcfacts@gmail.com. That's ewcfacts@gmail.com. This has been an EWC Communication production.